Hi, welcome to part 3 of my Epic Universe review. This video is the accessibility of Epic Universe, where I will talk about how I, as someone who has a chronic condition, thought of Epic Universe. I've, very minimal accommodations, but I have a lot of problem with heat, which is really ironic for a girl who loves theme parks. But I still want to experience these things, and that's what accessibility is for. I think it's super important for these parks to be accommodating. And I mean, let's talk about that. So obviously Disney has been having like a lot of problems with their DAS program. It's unfortunate and it was really helpful to me, but what will happen will happen. I think it was definitely abused, and I can see, Universal system also having that problem, but they do have a better kind of check of it where you have to like send in like medical information. I don't want to get too far into that. There are plenty of videos of how to sign up if you are in need of it and how you will qualify. A lot of people don't. I thankfully do, and thank God I had it for this park, is what I'm gonna say. So basics things, I don't know too much about, like wheelchair, ECVs, all of that, stroller. For most of the rides it does require transfer. I think there are a few, the carousel specifically, where there is wheelchair ride vehicles, but most things do require a transfer. This is the biggest thing. Most of these rides have stairs, so be very aware of that. But yeah, as someone with heat intolerance, I am very mindful of, how I spend my day at a theme park, whether I am taking a break when I need to, or drinking plenty of water, having a bathroom available, and also not being out in the sun for too long or standing in one place for too long, which is what a line is. So using the pass, I am able to wait in, a cool area while I'm waiting in a line, and it's so nice. So I'm able to eat lunch and sit in air conditioning and then go on the ride that I've been waiting for. And it is a really, really useful tool. My biggest thing is that Epic Universe is a hot park. The probably hottest areas are Celestial Park, Center Bit, Nintendo World is scorching, and some parts of Isle of Berg. Probably the best in the like cool areas, I would say, is definitely Harry Potter. Those tall buildings offer a lot of shade, and they just have I guess the way that they are built has a lot of breeze going through it, compared to Nintendo, where it's a pit with a little shade and just so much bright reflective colors that the heat just is like bouncing everywhere, and it's so hot. And I was getting overheated. I had to like try to find shade to stand in. It was not the most optimal. I also think it is such a tight space, especially in the upper level, where there's a lot of the games for the Power Up Band Challenge. It is really hard to navigate at times. There are a lot of stairs. There's just kind of a lot going on. People are kind of standing everywhere. The lines get really long for the game. So that's something to be very mindful of when you're going, is like, okay, stay on the bottom maybe, and only go up when you need to like ride a ride. And maybe, this isn't the best to do at, peak times during the day. If you want to do the power up bands, try to find like a quieter time to do them. Just, that's something to be aware of. Also, end game, towards the end of the day, the line does get pretty long because everyone has been doing the games throughout the day. And then they do the end game, and there's a long line for it. So that's something else to be very mindful of. When you are there, they do offer free water at the freestyle machines, which is really nice. I do recommend getting maybe a reusable cup or bringing a reusable water bottle, because you want to be drinking a lot of water. I did get the reusable cup because I wanted to get the specialty drinks, and I'm glad I did. I kind of alternated, and because it was like right there, I was drinking all day, and that definitely helped me a great deal. Also, do research on food ahead of time, whether you want to eat inside. If there's something you want to eat outside, make sure there's a place to eat in like the shade. That way you're not getting overheated while you eat. Also, make sure you eat. If there's something light will help, your stomach and not make you sick, try finding that over like a corn dog, which might make you sick. Bring snacks if you must. Bring electrolytes. Electrolytes are so important. Maybe try to drink some right in the morning while you're waiting to get in. If you have like a reusable water bottle or like a disposable water bottle, you can just fill up and drink quick and then toss while you get through the day. That way, if you don't want to have like the taste of electrolytes in your cup all day, which I understand because it can get gross. I also really highly recommend salt stick electrolyte capsules or the electrolyte fast chews. I think these are so fantastic for theme parks no matter where you're going. Also, if you just like have summer activities or like hot activities, or just if you're not feeling great, I think it's, or you know, working out, so good, so helpful. I'm really happy I had those with me. When in lines, be aware that there are a lot of stairs. This is something that I was like, I saw jokes about it online, but I was not anticipating how many stairs there actually were. And the answer is a lot. The answer is a lot. It's crazy how many there were. You know, there were some times when I probably should have just asked for an elevator instead of taking the stairs, but I didn't, and I really regret that because I kind of, you know, didn't feel great after that. So don't be afraid to ask, hey, can I use the elevator? Stairs don't really work for me. Even if you don't have the accessibility pass, see about that. Be like, hey, you know, I don't really do well on stairs, because you are literally waiting in line on a set of downward stairs where you're like stepping down. And it's just, it's a lot. It was a lot for me. That's in the Mario Kart ride, in the Harry Potter ride, and there's a lot of like up and down stairs. It's kind of crazy how many stairs there are actually in all these lines. Remember, elevators are there for guests to use, so take advantage of that when you can, if you are needed. Maybe, you know, if you don't really need it, maybe don't take advantage of that because it is for people who need it, but also don't be ashamed if you need it. It's kind of what I'm saying here. Universal is not known for their body size accessibility, I will say, and I think a lot of this park does fall on that problem. I think it's a bit better than the previous parks. There are some like bigger seating options, but there definitely is a little bit of problems with that. I'm not going to speak too much on this because it's not really a problem that I personally face, but I do want to bring light to it because, you know, it is a problem that people have with theme parks, especially Universal. I know Disney tends to do a little bit better. Okay, I totally lost the footage for this part, so this is me editing it. Yeah, I look bad. We're not gonna discuss that. This is my empty Cosmopolitan. Can I even, is it coming out of this? Hello? We're gonna see how this goes. Sorry, it's like 11:20 at night and I'm finishing the edit, but I'm also realizing I'm missing a whole clip that has some pretty important parts. Like somehow I have a 2-minute clip of me posing for the camera, but not the video that I filmed. Okay, anyway, so I get in things that are missing from this video. You will like see me looking great in a minute again, don't worry. The line for How to Train Your Dragon was horrific. That's what I want to start with. That line is so unshaded, and I know the trees are gonna grow, they're just planted, and Florida trees grow fast. Talk about this in the other videos that I made. Oh my gosh, there are like some shaded areas, but there's also some areas that are totally uncovered, which is so crazy for a Florida theme park. Glad I didn't have to wait in that line. Anyway, if you have any food allergy or food preferences, they are pretty accommodating, but it does take a bit longer to get your food. So what you do is you put your food order in, but then you put allergy request. So you send that over, and then you put your thing, and then you pay. Maybe, I don't remember the process exactly, I'm not gonna lie. I want to be clear, and this is really embarrassing, you know, I'm obviously uploading this August 20 something, I don't know what day this is coming up, but before September. When I went to this park in June, the summer has flown by, and what I have not been doing is editing this YouTube. I want more wine. That's just juice, it's just cranberry juice and lime. But it's extra steps to the process compared to just placing an order and then picking it up. You have to talk to the chef and get your accommodations for your meal, because if you don't, then like things can go haywire. And I'm glad that the chef does talk to you, but you know, you can't order everything. Maybe, you know, I say this in the video later in a second, you'll hear it. Do your research about what you can and can't have. There are guides, there are people who have been there before that have the food allergy, the intolerances you have. I posted a video on my TikTok with foods that I can have, that I had, that were really good. The baguette sandwich in the Harry Potter, you can get that gluten-free, and that was incredible. I had the
salmon bowl from How to Train Your Dragon, and that was also really good. You know, if you have gluten intolerance or stuff you're not going to be able to have, like the mac and cheese hand cone. Yeah, that's not for us. Dairy, obviously there's a lot of dairy in the park, so be cognizant of that when you're ordering any food. Just look at the menu, talk to the chef. They're very kind. I had good experiences past just the confusion of ordering. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the where I look nice and I'm not exhausted. And sorry, I worked today and now I'm doing this at night. Whatever, I'm sad I lost the clip. God. Okay, back to the video.
You know, there are a lot of resources out there for people who maybe want to know more about this. I'm maybe not the person to ask, but I did want to mention it. There are a lot of really, really great options. I don't want people to think that there are not good options available. Definitely do your research. There's a lot of good Facebook groups and a lot of good, you know, resources out there of people who have experienced this, who have had reactions maybe, who've had non-reactions. They're like, oh, this is good to eat. This is safe. This is what you should avoid. So definitely use your resources. Like with any accessibility thing, you know, see how other people have experienced it. This is how I experienced it with, you know, drinking a lot of water and these salt things and finding AC and also sitting off from rides that I, you know, knew I couldn't do. At the end of the night, Stardust Racers, I was not feeling good. And I was like, I know I cannot ride this without getting sick. So I will not ride it and I'll ride it next time. And that's just how it had to be. So watch your own limits, be aware of how you are, be aware of your body and yourself, and take stock of how you are feeling at many different times. Do not push yourself. That is a big thing. Use the medical accommodations and medical facilities that they have. They have a first aid station. If you really need to go to that, go to that. Epic Universe is fairly accommodating. Just, you know, be aware of what accommodations that you need. And I really do hope you have a really good time at Epic Universe when you go, because you should go. I'm gonna leave with the fact that I do wish they had a more accommodating ride lineup. There are a lot of really, really intense attractions, and I wish that they featured a lot more family-friendly rides that are maybe a bit more low-key. I think like How to Train Your Dragon area, the fire drill is a really good example of that. It is a low-key, very wonderfully themed ride that, you know, gives the guest a good experience without it being intense. I love an intense ride, don't get me wrong, but sometimes we need some balance. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was short, it was kind of all over the place, but I did want to get out that, you know, tips that I have for accessibility in the Epic Universe park, and they kind of work for every park. Bring a little fan, maybe an umbrella, a cooling towel is wonderful. My next video, I'm not sure what it'll be, but it'll be up next Sunday. I am really, really excited to talk to you guys some more. Follow my TikTok for daily videos, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye! Thank you so much for watching!